Welcome back to my channel, Famous and Fabulous. The Frank Sutton mystery finally solved, and it's not good. Frank Sutton was born Frank Spencer Sutton on October 23, 1923 in Clarksville, Tennessee. Growing up during the Great Depression, Sutton showed a big interest in acting from when he was young. While still in high school, he acted in student shows and local theater, where his love for acting became clear. Even though money was tight, he stayed committed to his dream of becoming a professional actor. After finishing East Nashville High School, he went after his dream by going to Columbia University in New York City, where he studied drama and graduated with honors. His hard work with acting was clear early on, and his good grades showed his deep commitment to getting better and doing well. But, like many young men of his time, Frank Sutton's life was hugely changed by the events of World War II. After the attack on Pearl Harbor, Sutton tried to join the U.S. Marine Corps, but they said no because he was colorblind. He didn't give up, so he joined the U.S. Army and served really well in the Pacific area. As a member of the 29th 3rd Joint Assault Signal Company, he took part in 14 attack landings, including the attacks on Leyte and Luzon in the Philippines. His time in the military gave him a deep sense of discipline and love for his country that would later affect the characters he played on screen. He became a sergeant and left the army with honor after the war, an experience that forever earned him the respect of other veterans and fans. After coming back from the war, Sutton went back to his acting career with new determination. He worked in both theater and television during the 1950s, getting a reputation as a good character actor. His early TV appearances included roles on shows like The Edge of Night and the United States Steel Hour. One of his most memorable early roles came in 1955 when he appeared alongside Academy Award winner Ernest Borgnine in Marty, a movie that critics loved that won 4 Oscars, including Best Picture. Though Sutton had a smaller role, his acting helped make his reputation in Hollywood as a serious actor. Even with his early success, Sutton found his real big break in the 1960s when he was cast in Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C., a spin-off of the Andy Griffith Show as Sergeant Vince Carter. Sutton played the tough drill instructor, always frustrated by the nice but clumsy Private Gomer Pyle, played by Jim Nabors. The chemistry between Sutton and Nabors was electric, and their on-screen friendship became the main part of the show. Audiences loved Sutton's ability to mix stern authority with moments of softness and humor. His acting made human the idea of the strict military man, showing layers of caring loyalty and even love beneath his character's loud surface. The show aired from 1964 to 1969 and became a cultural hit, bringing millions of viewers each week. Sutton's acting earned him a place in television history, and his catchphrases, especially the loud yell, became part of the American pop culture language. More than just a comedic partner, Sutton brought a sense of realness and truth to his role. No doubt helped by his own military experience, his acting connected with service members and regular people alike, making him a beloved figure during a crazy time marked by the Vietnam War and changing feelings toward the military. After Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. ended, Sutton kept working in television, theater, and commercials. He often took on guest roles in popular shows like The Twilight Zone, Gunsmoke, The Untouchables, and Love American Style, showing his dramatic range. Though he never got the same level of fame as during his Gomer Pyle days, Sutton stayed a respected and admired actor among his peers. In his later years, he focused more on stage work, performing in dinner theaters and local productions across the country, where he kept entertaining audiences with his endless energy and charm. After the popular sitcom Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. ended its run in 1969 after 5 successful seasons, Frank Sutton stayed a familiar face on American television, especially through his continued work relationship with his former co-star Jim Nabors. Sutton moved into a regular role on the Jim Nabors Hour, a musical comedy variety show that aired on CBS from 1969 to 1971. This show was a change of pace from the military setting of Gomer Pyle, giving audiences a chance to enjoy Nabors' operatic singing talents, along with comedy sketches that kept the charm and humor of the earlier sitcom. Sutton, along with fellow Gomer Pyle actor Ronnie Skell, was a key part of the show's comedic segments, often appearing in funny skits that showed his well-practiced timing and expressive range. In these sketches, Sutton often played the brother-in-law of Neighbour's character, letting him once again play off Neighbour's more innocent and friendly personality, much like his relationship with the character of Gomer Pyle. But this new setting gave Sutton more freedom to explore different comedic styles, often leaning into home or everyday humor rather than military strictness. His performances showed his versatility and ability to shift easily between stern, bossy roles and more light-hearted, family comedy. Sutton's presence on the Jim Neighbours hour helped keep the strong fan base he had built during his time on Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. And the show itself had good ratings during its 3-season run, thanks partly to Sutton's strong comedic chemistry with Neighbours and Skell. Outside of television, Sutton expanded his acting skills by getting into live theatre, especially in the popular format of dinner theatre, which grew big in the 1970s. This place let him connect more closely with audiences and show his skills in a live setting away from the limits of television scripts and shooting schedules. Among the many roles he played on stage, one of his most notable performances was as the father in Norman Chew, Is That You?, a groundbreaking comedy by Ron Clark and Sam Bobrick. The play dealt with themes of generational conflict and homosexuality, a bold subject for its time, and Sutton's role required both comic flair and emotional depth. His acting of the confused, but ultimately loving father gave audiences a look at his ability to bring honesty and vulnerability to a part that also required sharp comedic instincts. Critics often praised his stage work, noting that his energy and charm translated really well to the close interactive environment of dinner theatre. In addition to his work on Neighbour's show and the stage, Frank Sutton also made guest appearances on a variety of other television programs during the 1970s. These roles let him break free from the type casting that sometimes followed his famous portrayal of Sergeant Vince Carter. He took on parts in dramatic series and sitcoms alike, showing a range that surprised audiences who mainly knew him from his military character. Whether appearing in crime dramas, family series, or anthology programs, Sutton brought a distinctive intensity and professionalism to each role. These appearances helped him keep a steady presence in the public eye and confirmed his reputation within the entertainment industry as a dependable and talented character actor. Throughout this period of his career, Frank Sutton kept being admired by both audiences and his peers for his tireless work ethic, dedication to his craft, and his ability to make any role, whether comedic or dramatic, feel real and memorable. His post-Gomer Pyle years showed his versatility and determination to grow as an actor, securing his legacy not just as a television icon, but as a dynamic and accomplished performer across multiple mediums. In 1946, Frank Sutton married Toby M. Igler, a talented and ambitious woman who would go on to make a name for herself as a writer in the television industry, especially in the area of soap operas. Their marriage marked the beginning of a lifelong partnership that would last through the many highs and lows of Sutton's acting career. Toby, who had a deep love for literature and storytelling, brought both emotional intelligence and intellectual depth to their relationship. Her work in television writing required a creative mind, discipline, and perseverance, qualities that mirrored Sutton's own approach to acting. The couple supported each other's professional dreams, with Toby often giving valuable feedback on Frank's performances and career decisions, Frank in turn providing encouragement and admiration for her writing talents. Together they built a stable and nurturing home, even as Frank's career often required him to travel or work long hours on set. They had 2 children, a son Joseph Joe Sutton, born in 1951, and a daughter named Amanda Sutton. Joe would follow a creative path similar to his parents, becoming an accomplished playwright and drama professor. His works often explored intense human emotions and social issues. and he credited much of his artistic sensibility to the household in which he was raised. A home filled with a love for the arts, critical thinking, and expressive freedom. Joe's most notable play, Boardwalk, was produced on Broadway and dealt with issues of race and justice in the courtroom, earning critical acclaim and reflecting the kind of layered storytelling that both his parents appreciated. Though Amanda Sutton stayed more private and did not pursue a public career in the arts, she was an important member of the family and a source of strength and continuity. Family life was extremely important to Frank, who, despite his tough and often gruff television character, was a deeply loving and devoted husband and father. In interviews and conversations with colleagues, Sutton often spoke with pride about his wife's intelligence and his children's achievements, emphasizing that his proudest role in life was not that of Sergeant Vince Carter on Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C., but that of a father and husband. The marriage between Frank and Toby lasted until his untimely death in 1974, a testament to their deep bond and mutual respect. Toby never remarried, and in the years following Frank's passing, she stayed fiercely protective of his legacy, making sure that his contributions to American television and his memory as a dedicated family man were not forgotten. Their enduring relationship built on love, creativity, and shared values left a meaningful legacy for their children and for those who knew them for decades. Fans of actor Frank Sutton were left puzzled by the sudden and unexpected end to the life of the man who famously played to the hot-headed yet lovable gunnery Sergeant Vince Carter on the classic 1960s sitcom Gomer Pyle U.S.M.C. Sutton's booming voice, straight posture, and perfect comedic timing made him a fixture in American homes and a beloved presence on television. But behind the scenes, Sutton's personal life and untimely death were covered in mystery. Rumors spread, half-truths were repeated, and over time, the facts became twisted. Now, with new information and a clearer picture finally emerging, the truth has been revealed, and it's far from the heartwarming story many fans had hoped for. Frank Sutton died on June 28, 1974 at the age of just 50, collapsing from a heart attack in his dressing room moments, before he was supposed to go on stage for a performance of the play Love in Shreveport, Louisiana. For many, this seemed like an impossible tragedy. Sutton had always appeared full of life and strength, the perfect tough guy with a heart. But in reality, his health had been quietly getting worse, hidden by a demanding work schedule and a deep dedication to his craft. Sutton had long struggled with health issues that were made worse by years of heavy smoking, a poor diet, and constant stress from performing in both television and live theatre without much rest. Despite his outward image of discipline and energy, Sutton had been warned by doctors about his heart health. Yet he continued to push himself, believing that the show must go on. In fact, many of those closest to him later revealed that he had been ignoring warning signs for years. Frequent chest pain, shortness of breath, and times of tiredness that he would brush off with his usual tough guy attitude. Rather than addressing these health concerns seriously, Sutton chose to hide them, fearing that showing weakness could hurt his career or damage his reputation as a strong, commanding figure. This decision, in hindsight, proved to be tragically fatal. Adding to the sadness is the revelation that Sutton's death could likely have been prevented. Recent interviews and documents, uncovered by biographers, show that Sutton had been advised to get heart testing and treatment, but he reportedly postponed it multiple times because of work obligations and a desire to avoid public scrutiny. The idea of appearing vulnerable, especially after playing a larger-than-life military sergeant, was something he deeply feared. Sadly, this fear kept him from taking the medical steps that may have made his life longer. Moreover, his final days were filled with intense pressure. After Gomer Pyle ended, Sutton tried to reinvent himself on stage, eager to prove that he was more than a one-note comedic actor. He took on demanding theatre roles, often touring across the country with minimal rest. While audiences were delighted to see him live, Sutton was reportedly exhausted, working grueling schedules and performing under conditions that put immense strain on his body. Friends recall that he was running on sheer willpower in the days leading up to his death. The heart attack that claimed his life, it seems, was the result of years of unchecked physical decline and emotional exhaustion. To make matters worse, his sudden death left his family and colleagues reeling and unprepared. His wife Toby and their 2 children, including son Joe Sutton, who would later become a successful playwright, were devastated. They were unaware of just how serious his health issues had become. Those close to him have since expressed regret and sorrow over not recognizing the signs earlier or urging him more strongly to seek help. What remains is a painful what if. What if Sutton had sought treatment? What if he had slowed down? What if someone had stepped in? In the years following his death, some fans speculated about hidden illnesses, addictions, or deeper personal struggles. But the truth is more sobering, in many ways more tragic. Frank Sutton was a man who poured his heart and soul into every role he took, often at the expense of his own well-being. He was driven by a need to prove himself, to keep working, and to meet the expectations that fame had placed upon him. In the end, that very drive, the quality that made him such a compelling performer, was what also contributed to his early death. Now, with the facts laid bare and the veil of mystery lifted, what remains is not just sadness for a life cut short, but also a cautionary tale about the dangers of ignoring one's health in pursuit of success. Frank Sutton's story is a reminder that behind the laughs and the applause, even the strongest performers can be silently suffering. And in Sutton's case, the mystery behind his death isn't just heartbreaking. It's a sobering lesson that may finally bring his fans closure, even if it's not the ending they wanted to hear.